Hey everyone, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. My name is Kim and I'm an elementary school teacher here in Yokohama, Japan, currently on vacation. Yay! So I thought, just thinking over some of the customs that they do here in Japan and some of the traditions, I thought I'd share with you some of the things that I don't do that everybody does here in Japan, and then some of the things that I do. So, cheers. Last year, Bandit had his neutering operation, and this year he's an active 1-year-old. And last year also I had friends visiting. I wish they were visiting again. It is a good time to visit. Some people prefer not to visit during the holidays because since it is a very important time in Japanese culture, some things are closed or things may be super crowded. So maybe if you're a first-time tourist, it's probably not the best time to come. But if you're someone who's either lived in Japan before or you know people here, it's a great time to come. You can get great New Year's food. You can go see illuminations. You can get a lot of bargain sales. In fact, I've been going shopping this week just to kind of walk around and get out of the house for a little while before I concentrate on my heavy-duty cleaning. And there are a lot of sales going on. But I've been kind of holding back because once the new year starts, it's like after Christmas sales back in the US. Well, in Japan, they have after New Year sales. As one of the customs here in Japan is to get otoshidama, which is actually like New Year's congratulatory money. Usually seniors get it for the children, so parents will give some money to their children, their nieces and nephews. Any relative that's older is usually expected to give to the younger relatives. That's not a custom that we did back in the US. Sorry if this is crooked. I'm going to see if I can fix this. Oh no, it's probably going to fall. So, it wasn't a custom. Whoa! All right, maybe that's not gonna. Maybe you're just gonna have to put up with me crooked. All right, so it wasn't a custom that we practiced back in my family, and it's not a custom we practice now. There are a lot of traditional and festive decorations that people display in their home, at their businesses, even on their car, to celebrate and wish for good luck and good fortune for the upcoming year. And I think it's really festive, but I don't usually decorate one in my home. I don't usually even decorate with the bamboo or I guess they're not bouquets, but they're special flowers that they have for the new year. We don't put that out. Once in a while, if I find something decorative and cute, I may put it in our hallway area. I guess too, maybe it depends on what the year is. This year is the year of the dragon, and I don't know anyone in my immediate family that was born in the year of the dragon. I was born in the year of the dog. I don't know what my mom is. I know my brother and I think my cousin were rabbits. I think my dad was a horse. I'll have to check and see what my mom was. But yeah, so of course when it's the year of the dog, I go all out because all the decorations and things are dog related. So yeah, if you go to any Japanese home or business, you'll probably see these decorations up. The third custom that I don't usually do is on New Year's Day, or the whole going to the shrine. Actually, maybe New Year's Eve, walking to the shrine, eating your soba noodles at the shrine, going the next day, and all that stuff. Reason why is I just am not a big crowd person. I don't mind going to the shrine. I think it's really great. And I do like to go sometime after the New Year's holidays to get my lucky amulets and my charms and, you know, that kind of stuff. But as far as battling crowds and going there to hear the bells ringing or eat with everybody else or ring in the new year with a bunch of people, that's just not my thing. And it never really has been. When I first came to Japan, I was really lucky because I had great groups of friends, and during the holidays, most of them always went back home to their home country, so a lot of times I would just spend it by myself, and I loved it. I remember counting one time. I think the longest I went was maybe 14 days without saying anything, like without speaking to anyone, without having to go to a shop. Back when I was living in Tottori, when it was New Year's, everything was shut down. I mean, once it became New Year's holidays, you do all your shopping, but from after January, things were still closed. It wasn't like they had all these after New Year sales and events. So, or maybe they did, and I just kind of hibernated in my place and didn't come out. And I watched marathons on television, not running marathons, but different television shows. And I watched a lot of Japanese variety shows, and I was kind of shocked sometimes what they showed on variety shows. I didn't think you could show that much nudity on some of these variety game shows, but there was a lot. I really enjoyed the music shows. It was the Red and White Song Competition, which still goes on, and it's still a big deal on New Year's Eve. But I don't know many of the performers anymore. And I used to know so many more performers, so it was really interesting to watch. I used to have friends that later would go out with me, and we'd go sing karaoke. But I think the most fun that I remember from New Year's of my past is spending time with my dance teacher. My dance teacher was able to speak English and Japanese, and she was the one on one New Year's Eve we performed at Tottori Station, and it was televised. It was freezing cold. It was snowing, I believe, and we had to wear our leotards. The TV crew came and they were interviewing us, and I had no idea what was going on. And I'm glad that somebody videotaped it and actually videotaped the television clip, because now I can understand what was asked of me. And boy, do I look like a dummy for not being able to answer very simple questions. And okay, it wasn't the greatest of dances, but it was so much fun. And my dance teacher and I had a very special relationship, because I think I give her a great amount of credit for helping me come out of my shell and start really immersing myself in Japan and enjoying the things that I did. I did so much dancing with her. I'd go to work full time, and then I'd go immediately to the studio. And she was tough. She made me cry a lot. Like I kept saying, I'm not a dancer. I'm not a trained dancer. I don't have the body or the flexibility or the memory or the coordination that a good dancer should have. And I was doing it merely as a hobby and something for fun and exercise. But she was, diehard performance level. Let's do this. We're going to have a performance here. We're going to perform here. And I loved the performances, but it took a lot of work. And she was really, really strict about a lot of things. So, yeah. So she was really warm and opened up her house to me on New Year's Eve, and I would spend it with her and her family. She had, was he her nephew? I think it was her nephew. I can't remember, but he spoke English as well, and we used to play cards. We used to eat all the traditional Japanese food, and it was just such a fun, relaxing time. It was great to get to know her outside of the studio and just spend time with her and her family as just a friend, a Japanese friend. And I sure wonder what happened to her. I'm sure she's still in Tottori, but is she still dancing? Is she still She would be, gosh, she would be in her 70s now because she was a little bit older than me. So, Maki, if you're listening, I miss you, and I really am grateful for the time we spent together, and I'm not going to start crying on this video. Another custom that a lot of Japanese people do during the New Year's is send nengajo, or New Year's postcards. They actually create or make or print out or buy these New Year postcards well in advance and get them sent off by a certain date, which is usually around Christmas time, so that on New Year's Day morning or sometime during January 1st, these cards are delivered. I used to do that when I first came here in Japan because I thought it was kind of cool, and I didn't really have a whole lot of people to send these cards to. Usually you send them to people at your workplace, friends, people that you've maybe made contact with or connections with. And yeah, you can buy them pretty cheaply, make them pretty easily if you have the time. And on the pre-made postcards, they already have the stamp on there, and they also have these special lottery numbers. So I think it's January 15th or whenever the coming of age ceremony is, or around that time, they have a special lottery, and you can check to see if your numbers match any of the winning numbers. You could win anything from a set of special postage stamps to big prizes like trips or electronic equipment. So when you get the postcards, right, you want to save them or keep them somewhere handy so that when they do announce the numbers, you can check and see if you've won anything. I've never won anything huge, but I have won the special postage stamps. Now, there was a time when I did get into the postcard making, and I usually would get something like maybe a special stamp or decorate, but I always used to try to write a message, and that's what took time because I used to have to write little messages, sometimes in Japanese, sometimes in my poor Japanese, and it took a long time. And as I got busier with work, I really didn't have the time. It's also really difficult because there's a lot of customs that go through with this. For example, if someone in a person's family has passed away, usually someone in the immediate family, then it's customary not to send them any postcards. If someone in your immediate family has passed, then it's customary for you not to send the postcards. Instead, you would send a little message type of postcard saying that you've had a death in the family, so you will not be exchanging cards this year, and that lets people know that you're not going to be sending cards because someone's passed. And it's just kind of a courtesy so that they don't feel bad if they sent you a card. If someone sent me a card, even, like when my father had passed away and I got cards, it's not anything bad. Like, you're not going to say, oh God, how rude. It's just, I don't know what Japanese people would think, but for me, I thought nothing of it. The other thing that was hard too is I moved a lot. I moved 11, 12 times in Japan since I've been here. And so my address was always changing, and it's really hard to let everybody know. And sometimes you have those people or you have those friends or family friends that you only have correspondence or contact with during the holidays. And I didn't get a chance to send them a change of address note. I just depended on the forwarding service to forward me the cards. And I think forwarding can be done for a year after you've moved. And unless you renew that, then it just stops. So I'm sure a lot of people wondered what happened to me or lost contact with me. Part of it is my fault because I should have kept in better touch with some places, but it's just with moving and changes of jobs and relationships and all kind of things happening during that time. Sometimes you just prioritize and you can't put everything, those cards, as first or top priority, or at least I couldn't. So as the years kind of went on, it just became easier not to send them. And especially too with online stuff, it was easier to just send a group card online, which is not as personal. I realize that. And I know a lot of people will probably fault me for not sending them a personal card, but there was really nothing to update. You know, it's a greeting, and greetings, I feel, and messages from the heart should come all year round, not just at the holidays. And so even if I didn't wish somebody a greeting over the holidays, if something happened during the year that I felt I needed to connect with them on, I would try and connect with them at other times. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I guess it started with my grandparents' death, because I kind of had almost, well, as you get older, this is kind of what happens. You start having a death in your immediate family almost every year, and it sucks. But yeah, that was how it was, I think, during that time for me. And then after Sinbad passed away, I couldn't even bring myself to do much of anything, right? So I don't get the enjoyment that I should. And you guys know me. It's the same way I feel about Valentine's Day. If the feeling isn't there, and if you're just doing it because everybody else is doing it, or it's something that's expected for you to do, or it's just what everybody does, I don't always jump on that bandwagon. So I apologize to those of you who do send cards faithfully to me every year, and those of you who have sent New Year's cards to me faithfully every year, and I haven't acknowledged, or I haven't said, hey, I'm alive, I'm okay. I apologize for that. But maybe after I start working part-time and not full-time, maybe there'll be more chances for me to do things and catch up on correspondence and let you know a little bit more of what I've been up to, because it's hard. So that's another custom I haven't done. Now let's talk about some of the things I do on New Year's Day or during the New Year's holidays that Japanese people usually do. I do eat all the festive osechi ryori. Osechi ryori are the special New Year foods that Japanese people take hours to make and prepare, but it is so delicious, and each food has a special meaning while you eat it. For example, eating certain foods for good health, or for longevity, or for good fortune, all those kind of things. That'll be explained perhaps in another video, maybe made by someone who is actually from Japan that knows what each food is meant to be for. Also, my friends cook amazing osechi ryori. Even my friends back in the U.S. But my grandmother was the one that prepared the osechi ryori for my family. My mom, I don't think, ever prepared anything, except maybe the ozoni, which is the rice cake soup. I wish I would have paid better attention to what my grandmother made and all her recipes. But now that I'm here, it's so readily available. So on New Year's, I just pick it up at the supermarket, or I order it from somewhere, and it's so easy. But I really should and would like to someday make it by scratch. I do enjoy all the food, and you eat that for, gosh, almost a full week. So because I like all the Japanese food, it's exciting for me to just eat as much as I can and indulge. It was something I didn't appreciate as much when I was back home. I would eat some of the things that my grandmother prepared, but other things, it wasn't my thing. A lot of times back home, too, I wasn't around for New Year's morning, or I was sleeping in. Reason why is, when I was in university, right, I went to USC, and we had a really good football team at the time. So when we went to the Rose Bowl, or if I decided to work on the Rose Parade floats with my friends, that's what I did. And so we celebrated New Year holidays in different ways and not necessarily the Japanese traditional ways. I think perhaps when my grandparents on my dad's side were alive, maybe we did a little bit more of the Japanese things, but I don't really remember that well. But I just know that my grandmother, we celebrated more with my grandmother's family. And yeah, I think we watched the red and white card on cable TV. And my grandmother and her friends, who are actually relatives of some sort, used to play a Japanese card game called Hana. I tried to learn once. Hanafusa, is that what it was called? I tried to learn. And I'm sure if I played it now, it would come back to me, but I've pretty much forgotten. One of the things that I do, that they also do in Japan before the New Year, is clean. They call it osoji, which is translated as big cleaning. It's when you really give your house or your apartment a thorough cleaning, organize stuff, get rid of things you don't need anymore, do all your laundry so you can start the new year fresh. And yeah, I do that. I haven't done it as good as I should. So this year I'm really going to concentrate, because last year, I think with Bandit having his operation, I really didn't want to leave him alone, and I pretty much watched over him a lot. This year, I'm going to try and sort out my closet and get rid of a lot of the things that I don't use anymore. I just think it's a really good tradition to start the year off clean. And I think anybody that comes here, it's a tradition that makes sense. It makes sense to clean everything. You see lines at the car wash because everybody is cleaning their car. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This year I did get my car washed, but I understand that because you just want to start the new year off feeling clean. It's the same reason why one of my own personal traditions, which I don't know if it's a Japanese custom or if it's just something I do personally, is one of the last things I like to do before midnight is take a nice clean bath and just wash away all the bad luck or all my troubles and start the year off fresh. And I think my mom's under the same thing where, right, your sheets, your laundry, your bedding, all of that is washed clean so that you start the year off with fresh bedding and your first night's sleep is, in cleanliness. So while I was editing, I realized that I didn't have any ending footage, so I just wanted to say thank you for listening to my comparison of some of the things that I do during the New Year's in Japan and some of the things that I don't do. I find that Japan is a very traditional society, and the way they celebrate their holidays is pretty festive. There's a lot of traditions which I really admire, respect, and kind of, I guess, was introduced to back when I lived in Los Angeles. But now that I'm living in Japan, I realize that there's a lot of things that I don't do just because my Western self feels, it's just either too much trouble to go through, or it's something that I don't find necessary for me to end the year or celebrate the new year with. So thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this video, please give it a like. I would love to have you join our community here. I am learning, growing, trying to improve every day, and I would love to have you be a part of my adventures and misadventures. All right, thank you, and we'll see you next time.